Hello my little garbage monkeys. Lots of things need to happen in the forever world, and that's what we're going to be working on today. We need a few things to get done. We need to get an animal farm, that's important for any survival. We need to finish our mine, that's also important. And finally, we've got to get the big blue. No, I'm not talking about depression, I'm talking about diamonds. Like any responsible member of society, I start my day by getting dressed. If you skip this step, you're probably a bit weird, but hey, what do I know? I start my day with some wheat farming, because if you're not doing back-breaking labour in the morning, can you really say it was a worthwhile day? God, I just love the smell of crops in the morning. The most tedious task I have to do today is definitely finishing the mine. I've already got a decent chunk of it done, but I don't want to leave this till later. I think we just need to bite the bullet and get this thing done. The good thing about a forever world is that I don't really need to rush anything. I can take my time and make this a 3-wide staircase all the way down to bedrock, which, you know, I think is going to turn out quite nice. It also gives me an excuse to turn my brain off and listen to music, which I love doing when I play Minecraft, by the way. It's a very therapeutic experience, I highly recommend it. Hey look! I found iron and diorite. That's 2 treasures instead of just 1. I love you, diorite. I don't know why people think you're ugly. A cave! I definitely need this. I've mined up all of the iron in the ravine by my house, so I've not really had a way to replenish my pickaxes and tools, so a new cave definitely doesn't go amiss. Need a new pickaxe before I can go diving into that though. Pickaxe acquired, we can start digging into this cave now. Looks like quite an expansive one too, must be my lucky day. You know we started off getting that iron. I see some deep slate down here too. I wonder what the chances of getting diamonds down here are. The answer is 0. It was a dead end, so I came back up and found some lapis instead. Not that I'm complaining. This is quite interesting, by the way. I mined out this iron and found a little cave system behind it. I didn't really expect it to go anywhere, but I followed it along and I found a geode, which is very useful because, spoiler alert, I'm gonna need calcite for a build I have planned later on. I need amethyst blocks too. I actually need them first. I don't know why my mind went instantly to calcite. Point being, this geode is very useful for me. You thought my good luck ran out there? Ha! Fool! No. I kept going and I came into this very large deep slate cave which had a plethora of good ores for me. The cave was occupied, so I killed the homeowners and then took their loot, which turned out to be a nice store of diamonds. I was in the process of robbing this family of skeletons when the grandson came out of his room and tried to attack me as well. I guess he doesn't want me touching his grandfather's inheritance. It's too late though, because I'm a violent psychopath and killed him on the spot. With the innocents dead, I could finally focus on growing my fortune, said every billionaire ever. It was only 1 diamond. I massacred an entire family for 1 diamond. I never thought I'd feel bad for a bunch of pixels, but here I am grieving over a bunch of fictional skeletons. I think it's best if we leave this one buried and flee the scene, so that's exactly what I'm doing. Atrocities aside, let's discuss land expansion. First things first though, we can knock off one of our quests for today. We very luckily stumbled across an old inheritance and got a diamond. Ah yes, back to land expansion. First let me kill an ecosystem and then we can discuss placing some animal farms in. I want to place the animal pens behind the crop farm because I don't want the animals near my house at all. If I can hear them while I'm trying to go to sleep at night, I've failed in my mission. Before I can build anything though, I need to flatten out this land. The thought of this being uneven drives me absolutely nuts. I always feel like I have mountains of dirt until it comes time to use it, and then I feel like I have almost none. I mean, I had space for 1 animal pen, but there's more than 1 animal in Minecraft, so that's kinda useless. You know I'm extra and had to make this pen a little bit more detailed than just the classic fence. I'm going for a stone brick and birch log pattern because you know I can't stop myself from using the most expensive blocks available. Hey, would you look at that? It's an unnecessarily over-detailed sheep farm. It's not done, I'm too indecisive for that, so there's gonna be a little bit of tinkering. It's done and it's looking fly. I just need to do this a bunch more times. Only 1 more time for now though, luckily. I just want cows and sheeps for now. Chickens too eventually, but they're lower on my priority list. I'm desperate for leather and I'm desperate for wool, hence why I'm after cows and sheep. Time for some less than glamorous work. I'm underneath my base mining dirt. Ugh. The dirty work is finished, pun intended, and now I can get back to building the second pen. It's going to be the exact same design as the first one and the exact same size, so trust me, this is not a very interesting construction process. There you go. For your viewing pleasure, I've done you the courtesy of skipping ahead. Alright, I'm sorry to break construction on the animal pens, but this mine entrance has been really annoying me for a while. I hate the fact that it's just a big hole in the floor. It's a small project, but I guarantee you this is going to make a world of difference difference. Okay, it's reveal time, and as I expected, this makes the whole thing look much better. It's the little details that really pull your world together. Things like this go a long way in making the town, the village, whatever this ends up being, feel a lot more connected and lived in. An animal farm is kind of redundant without animals, so you're never gonna guess what I did today. I put animals in. Yeah, that's it. It should be obvious. Can't forget about the cows. They went in nice and easy too. Now, if I want, I can have a McDonald's at my front door. Hold on, that's actually not a bad building idea. Potential cow massacre aside, we can now remove the second sign. The animal farm is as done as it's going to be today. Back to the worst thing in Minecraft, the mining. And now we're at Deep Slate, which just slows down progress so much. It's so annoying to mine. Also, here's a fun fact for you. All the progress we've made in this world has been done in 27 days, which I thought was quite cool. At least I found some more andesite down here. I need that for the road, so it's always good to have more. I also uncovered something quite horrifying, a trial chamber. I've never seen one before, so I kind of just loitered around wondering if I should go in or not. I took a little bit of time to contemplate, but then kind of just came to the conclusion that it's now or never. And this isn't a hardcore world, so if I die, there's no real consequence. I've never seen anybody point it out before, but these things are really eerie. Just a massive structure underneath the ground, devoid of any and all human life. Really creepy. I was already thoroughly creeped out, so when I came across this big plaza room I knew there was trouble. I just turned around and left. I wasn't dealing with this. Not now. I'll save this for another video. I needed a break. The underground was driving me crazy. Not to mention all of that deep slate was just sapping my energy. I took a little wander through the acacia biome and stumbled across a village in the distance. This is quite near to my base, so I'm very surprised I didn't find this earlier. You already know the first thing I did when I arrived in this village. I'm gonna exploit these people for my personal gain. Call me boring or uninspired, but I'm not going to say no to free slave labour. If you've seen any Minecraft video in the past 3 years, you know exactly what I'm about to do to these people. And if you want to take me to court over human rights violations, I just want you to know I have better lawyers than you do. It's fine, the whole operation takes place underground anyway. So long as you don't snitch, no one needs to know. You won't snitch, right? Sorry about that, I didn't mean to threaten you. I just needed to distract myself from what I'm about to do to these villagers. My guilty conscience won't let me live it down. In a few days, those villagers are going to be more inbred than the Habsburgs, and quite frankly, I feel awful about it. Just because it's an abomination doesn't mean I'm going to skimp on the niceties. I mean, come on, this place needs stairs. My knees aren't good enough to be climbing up a bunch of hard rocks. Instead of thinking of this as slave labour, try thinking about it as if it's an investment. The parents will suffer horrible fates so the children can live in luxury. Any villagers that are locked outside of this wall, by the way, are just gonna suffer the fate of the outside world. I'm not saving them. I've already got my share of the people. I'm gonna have a gate, of course, only I'm gonna end up using it, but still a nice feature. I'm gonna cut the cameras for a little bit, because at least that way I can claim plausible deniability about what happened to these villagers. I wasn't there. You can't prove it. There's no video evidence. Okay, I'm joking. I'm not actually going to cut the cameras, but I'm not going to record all of this either. After all, it is just a bunch of slavery, slavery, trading, rinse and repeat until you get a bunch of emeralds. First things first, we gotta make some space for agriculture. I want to make most of my money off of melons and pumpkins. I've got melons, I just don't have pumpkins. I have some at home, but I didn't bring them to the village with me. It's not going to be a massive farm because truthfully I don't plan on staying here too long. I just want to get a start on an emerald empire and then I'll get out of here. See, I'm already done. All the melons are placed. Now once the stems grow and I get a few more villagers bred, I can start making some money! Melons and pumpkins aren't the only crops I want though. I'm also going to start on a little bit of a wheat farm so I can feed my villagers because shockingly, if you don't feed your slaves, they die. Another reason I'm setting up this wheat farm is because I want this village to be entirely self-sufficient. I don't want to have to do resource trips between here and my house just to keep this place running. This farm is also going to help feed me because those 5 steak in my hotbar are getting dangerously close to being the last of my food. While we wait for those crops to grow, I have another thing I'd like to get for the village. I'd like to get big taiga trees. There's another trade that's very valuable and that's the stick trade. So if I can get some big trees for this village, I think we're in business. Luckily for us, I know where a spruce biome is. I saw one during the first recording, but I didn't end up going that way. Aha! There it is. Right across the river. I saw this place ages ago, I just never bothered coming here, which in hindsight is a really bad idea. Even if I didn't want to settle down here, I should have at least grabbed the resources. Doesn't take too long all in all. I'm only aiming for 8 to 12 spruce saplings, which is enough for 2 to 3 big taiga trees. I only got 11 saplings, but that's purely because I couldn't be bothered staying there any longer. 11 is more than enough anyway, I'll get tons done with this. The journey home was nice too. I found a bunch of places that I might want to build in later. Oh, I see Savannah. That means we're getting close. Home sweet home, there you are. Alright, now I'm going to put in these big old trees. I'm going to outline them with a little bit of cobblestone, since if you know anything about taiga trees, when you grow them, they get pods all everywhere. Don't mind me, just expanding the villager room, for absolutely no reason at all. Oh yeah, that's looking nice and spacious. This can support at least 35 people. Okay, but for real this time, I'm going to cut the cameras and do some trading. I'll update you when I'm back, hopefully we won't get too far. Hello again folks, small update. I might have gotten a little bit carried away trading emeralds and now we have a little bit more than bargained for. I mean, you haven't missed too much, the village still looks mostly the same other than a few improvements. The only thing that's changed is that I'm a lot richer and a lot happier. This is the new tree farm, complete with a rail so you can cut them down from the top. I've been cutting these trees religiously. I want you to know that I've done this tens upon tens of times and traded thousands upon thousands of sticks. And here's the backbone of my operation, the finished wheat farm. This thing has been so helpful in not only feeding me but also feeding the villagers. As you can tell from the bread in my inventory, this thing has not gone amiss. I also took the time to add a second layer to this farm, only for pumpkins. I nipped home, did the trip, got some pumpkins, started growing them here, and you know what? It was well worth it because it's doubled my profits. It's not a massive farm, but believe you me, this thing produces. And last but not least, my pride and joy, the villagers. We have so many in here. So many that we're also getting iron golems spawning. As you can see by the diamonds on their belts, I've been really busy trading with these guys. And you might be wondering what the whole point of this thing is, and fair enough, it is a bit of an abomination, but the point of this is so I can buy tools. I've been saving up on emeralds, they're all in this chest here, I've got a couple of stacks. This is enough to buy some diamond tools, like a pickaxe, an axe, and a shovel, that will essentially just make construction easier. As much as I enjoy building the village at my base and whatnot, with all the big buildings, sometimes with iron tools, it can be a hassle. So I wanted a renewable source of diamond tools. Now, the enchantments aren't ideal, to be honest with you. I'd rather something like efficiency and unbreaking, but I've just got a few random ones. That's to be expected though, the durability is more than going to make up for that. But with that in mind, I think one of the next projects we need to tackle is an enchantment table, which I do have an idea for, but the build is quite large, hence why I want some new tools before I begin construction on it. That's about all I want to do at the village for now. I'm going to head home and we can get started on a build for this video. Before I do any building though, I'd like to organise my storage room. Up until this point it's just been a bunch of unbranded chests, so I haven't moved anything in here yet. I'm going to start labelling them with item frames and then get some of my items put in here. It's not a massive undertaking, but this is one of those things where it's a small project that's going to make a world of difference, kind of like the mine entrance. Well, I don't have enough item frames or items to finish the rest of these chests, so this is as good as we're going to get for now, only about halfway done. That's fine though, I'll take free space over no space. Testing out my new diamond pickaxe on the deep slate layer, and would you look at that, fate is already starting to favour me. I've already found some new diamonds. How nice. It was only 2 though, so while it's still lucky, it's definitely not revolutionary. Alright folks, that's enough mindless chores, let's get to something more interesting. Construction! I'm going to be building a workshop, somewhere for all my different crafting apparatuses to go. Something like the grindstone, blast furnace, anvil, all of that jazz, all compact in one house. First step with any build is put in the foundations to make the basic shape. I want this to be boxy, but I also want it to have a little bit of kind of jutty out bits, so maybe we'll have a balcony poking out somewhere, who knows. Point being, I have a lot of resources to spare on this build, so we can afford to experiment a little bit. As much as it pains me to say this, I'm actually going to give this build an acacia roof as well, because shocker, I actually really like how it turned out on the storage house, so much so that I want to try it again. Can't go wrong with some birch and stone brick. That's always a palette that goes well, so I'm just going to be safe and use that for this. I don't think I'm going to have too many floors on this build, maybe just 1 or 2. This is the part of the build where madness trumps genius and you begin to wonder if I even know what I'm doing. And the answer is no, I don't. I'm throwing things at a wall and hoping it looks good. We'll add a little oak trim to make the amethyst pop more, and I think that looks really nice. It gives the building a little bit of a mystical feel. If you're ever struggling with detailing walls or flat surfaces, just chuck random things at it and eventually it'll look good. I just use gates and trapdoors to give it more depth. Does it make sense? Hell no. Does it look good? Hell yeah. I'm doing something cursed. I'm putting in a circular window in a block game. Look at that. I mean, obviously it's not actually a circle, but from a distance it looks like a circle, which is kind of what I wanted, you know? Now the roof is an interesting case. I've got this kind of pointy design and it's going to go up really high, it might be taller than the storage room. I'm going to trim it out with stone bricks and then fill the middle with acacia, so I'm going to need a lot of resources for this, but I genuinely think this is going to look really good once it's done. On second thought, maybe not. This is still a little bit shorter than the storage room. You can't look at that and tell me that doesn't look amazing though. I think I'm going to keep the block palette relatively similar for this village at least. You know, by the beach I want everything to have a similar palette with the stone bricks, acacia and birch theme. Let's spice up this house a bit by adding some lore to it. Let's say that this ring of amethyst blocks is an enchantment designed to keep away evil spirits, or in this case, mobs. I've always liked adding lore to Minecraft builds. I think it adds an extra layer of depth and detail to the world, especially when everything ties in together. I like the idea of this building being used to create very powerful weapons and armor, so it had to be protected very well so no one would come and, you know, steal the important artifacts. Hence why there's kind of a ring of enchantments around it. That's a cool idea, I think I'm going to stick with that. Here's the backside of the build. You can now see it starting to take shape. I am so glad I spent a while farming acacia wood because I need so much of it for the roof. I mean, this looks okay. It looks a bit flat to be honest. I do wish there was a bit more detail on that roof, but other than that, I am actually really happy with how this is coming along. I've got a serious problem when it comes to over detailing. I'm at the point where I'm using fence gates as support beams. But hey, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Everybody needs support. I'd like to formally apologise for that god-awful laugh. I assure you that will be cut out of the video. I'm going to get a start on the inside. Like most of my buildings, I'm just going to rip up the floor and put in a solid block, probably stone, to serve as the floor, at least for now. I'm bad at interior, okay? As long as the outside looks good, that's more than enough for me. Oh, how daring of me. Wood and stone for the floor. Someone's feeling pretentious today. There we go. I told you I wanted a balcony and I've officially made it work. I will say, while the interior may be small, it's very cozy and I'm a big fan of that. As much as I like the acacia on the outside, I don't like it at all on the inside, so I'm going to have an indoor stone roof. There we go. It might not be heavily decorated, but the interior foundation is done and I'm really happy with it. I need to add some more detail to the balcony though. This one's going to be seen from the outside. When in doubt, use fence gates. These things are slowly becoming a lifesaver. I added a little stone trim on the back side. I think it looks really nice actually, so much so that I'm going to do it on the other two sides. Okay, there's just one more thing to add before I can officially call this done. Remember how I said this side of the roof looked flat earlier? Yeah, well I'm going to add something to fix that. It's a chimney! And it's a tall one at that. I think with this we might be taller than the storage house. Yeah, we are, but just by a little bit, but still, you know what? It counts. It's my village, I make the rules. This is officially the new tallest building. By the way, watch how I get down in style. Boom! Yeah, easy. Didn't even break a sweat. Not that it matters. Again, this isn't hardcore. I can afford to die, especially near my base. Oh bummer. The building designed with an enchantment to keep mobs away ended up attracting them because it can offer them shade. How ironic is that? I have to admit though, I love the look of this building. It really adds to the village, it's a very welcome addition. Yeah, you know what? This might be my favourite build so far. Also, this offers me a half decent view of the other buildings I've done so far. Not a great view, I mean we're not too high up, but it's better than nothing, at least for now. Wait a minute. That thing isn't a cow, what are you doing in here? Oh well, can't allow you to ruin the livestock. That reminds me actually, there was something else I meant to buy from these villagers that I completely forgot to do earlier. Some diamond armor. Luckily, I'm insanely rich and have a lot of emeralds left over. The enchantments aren't great, but you know what, it's diamonds, I'm not gonna pass it up. Oh yeah, we are leaving this village looking totally iced out. Haven't heard anybody say iced out since like 2020. I'm not going to put my old reliable irons to waste though. I'm going to hang them up in the workshop where they belong. I might retire some other armors here if we end up getting to that point. Ooh, yes, before I forget, we have a few suggestions to put up on the board. One of the suggestions was to build a watchtower. I think this is the first one that I'm going to tackle. We had a suggestion for pixel art of my favourite album. I want to do this one, but this one is a massive scale project and won't get done anytime soon. And finally, we have a suggestion to build a shark, which I think is quite cute. I'll get round to this one at some point too. Thank you to everyone who left a suggestion. Your feedback and contribution to the series means a lot to me. Okie dokie, thank you very much for listening to this lunatic ramble for a while. I appreciate every one of you. Love you, bye bye.